Okay, today is October 21st, 2019 for the Village of Stryker regular council meeting at 6:01. Thank you for holding off for that 1 minute. I apologize for that. Leading us tonight is Steve Wheathole, pastor of the Lockport Mennonite Church. All right, it's all yours, sir.
Shall we pray? O Lord God, creator and sustainer of the universe, the one who knows each of us by heart and loves us completely, Lord, may your presence be here this day. May the decisions bring justice to your land. May the decisions remember the poor, the weak, and all of the community. And Lord, may these decisions this day bring honor and glory to your name. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Tonight leading us in the pledge is American Legion member and Navy veteran, Mr. Don Carroll. Anybody else for Carroll?
Thank you, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, thank you.
Just 1 second, I want to clear up. You guys want to take a second?
Absolutely.
Excuse me, I didn't want to mess up the meeting, but I know I talked to the lady over here about the banners, and the American Legion did donate to the man who just passed away.
Ronald Hurd.
Huh?
Ronald
Mr. Hurd?
Hurd, yes, because he used to do our taxes for us. So I told my commander, I said, we're gonna do this. We're not gonna talk about it, we're not gonna discuss it, we're gonna do it. And so I took care of it today, so I wanna make sure you guys knew that.
Okay, good.
And if you need some help with anybody else that shows up for this and needs some help with it, the Legion's ready to go.
Okay, great.
Thank you. I'm sorry I got a county council meeting for the first district of the state of Ohio, and I've been adjutant for that for 15 years, and I gotta get out of here. So,
Okay, nope.
thanks, y'all.
Just don't speak.
I'll try not to.
Appreciate it.
Good to see you.
With that, definitely I'll put a plug in since it is up here. The banners are there. I kind of harassed Chief Slusher a little bit, or I shouldn't use the word harass, should I? I was having a little fun. Had a little fun with that because obviously Chief Slusher and I, we served at the same time. Different, trying to think how I should say that. Different branches, but yet the same branch. But these are some of the items that are going to go up in the downtown. So definitely, if we have Stryker members that are have served, it would be great to put up. I'm pretty excited about these banners going up there. So just a little plug. Sorry about that.
And the paper is available here in the office.
Oh, there we
To
go.
order 'em.
So those would be a great photo for our paper. Let's go with roll call.
Armstrong?
Yes.
Cameron?
Yes.
Gunner?
Yes.
Blevins?
Yes.
Overall?
Yes.
Tompkins?
Yes.
I'm gonna jump a little bit out of order. I know I'm even gonna jump out of order of the out of order. I want to acknowledge someone that is here for a government class. What I want to do is I want to have you come on camera, then your teacher can always say, yep, they were there. So why don't you come up this way, introduce yourself. Okay, you didn't know you were going to have to do this, did you? Okay, so you'll have to do it real loud. I want to make sure that your teacher can see you, and then you can let all your friends know that you're on YouTube.
Hi, I'm Eric Huffman. I'm here for government class.
Okay, what grade are you in this year?
12th.
12th grade? Okay. And then what is something that you're looking to take out from tonight? What does your teacher say that you're supposed to get out of this? Let's start with that.
I just attend community service and get out in the community.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anything for our senior? All right. Thanks for coming. I put you on the spot, didn't I?
A little bit.
Apologize for that. The other thing that out of order that we wanted to do is introduce a new hire, and I want to bring this up. I know that there was some members in my family that applied for this. I want to talk to the people that were in the interview, and the staff here. Thank you for keeping me 100% out of it. I had no knowledge of any of it, and I asked them to do that because I didn't want any preferential, and there is no, I wanted the best person for the job, and from my understanding, that's what we got. So I truly appreciate you guys doing that, okay? So I'm gonna turn this over to Alan
Yes.
and do the introduction, bring him up, because I'm sure that he wants to be in front of the camera as well. So come on up, so your wife can see it and all your friends.
This is Andrew Nottinger from Bryan.
Okay?
He is a former Williams County Highway Sanitation Department employee. We had 12 applicants, and all of them were good, but with some help from council, we chose Andrew, and we're looking forward to him working here and his experience with wastewater and highway maintenance.
Just in time for leaves.
He was forewarned.
Oh, was it? Okay. Okay, good.
Congratulations. Thank you. And
Yep, appreciate it. Look forward to many years. Look forward to many years, and I wanted, and I know this wasn't anything real major, but just a couple minutes, just so these people, as well as myself, could see who you are, and then also for the people on Facebook, that way when they see you around town, it's just not some stranger picking up their leaves and their twins. So, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, to read a curveball.
Yeah, you threw me a curveball as well. Okay.
So, I'm going to introduce, come on up here, Dylan. Dylan Ebersol. Dylan is a reserve officer. He's due to go to the academy next
Oh,
year.
this side, you need to be on this side, because
Yes, yeah, thanks, right. So he's going to be going to the academy next year, next fall. He's got himself enrolled into Northwest State. Okay. So yeah, we're in the meantime, he's going to be out riding around with a lot of the officers, so you may see him. And originally from, you graduated from Bryan, right?
Yes.
So originally from Bryan, but living in May. I'll let you introduce your lovely family here.
I got my fiance, Casey Miller, my mother, Katrina Ebersol, and then my aunt, Danielle Woodcutter.
Welcome, ladies. Appreciate it. So, yeah, big moment for this young man, for sure. It's great that you got family here and everything, so. But yeah, we're extremely excited. Obviously, Dylan will be one of many that we intend to bring on board. We're definitely get him prepared for bigger and better things, get him some training in. That way the academy goes a little bit smoother for him. Yeah, we're excited to have him on board.
okay, with that, you get to raise your right hand, and I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States of America,
and the laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of the state of Ohio,
and the laws of the state of Ohio,
and the laws and ordinances
and the laws and ordinances
of the political subdivision
of the political subdivision
to which I'm appointed,
to which I'm appointed,
and to the best of my ability,
and to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties of this office.
discharge the duties of this office.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. And thank you, Mom, Aunt, and fiance. Pretty exciting, very exciting. I'll start over here on my right-hand side. Mr. Gensler.
Jack Gensler, I live at 403 North Defiance Street, and I have a couple of items I'm going to bring up tonight. One that involves me and the different members that live, or families that live on North Defiance Street and Grand Street, in that area. I have, right next to my house, I have an alley goes through there. And there is a grate on it, unlike I think any of the other alleys throughout town. And since I've lived there, I think about 20, 25 years ago, they did do some tar and stone. And since then, Other than if the tire bubbles up, they throw a little stone on it. But about 3 years ago, they did put a little bit of a cold patch on an area that we actually had where the tires go between the crust of the alley and the tires, about 5.5, 6 inches. So even though they plow, we'd have a good area there that if it was, the conditions were just right, it would freeze up and you couldn't hardly get in. But, and since then they did do, it topped about 15, 20 inches a year ago. And then last year, when I called them late, because they kept saying they're gonna do this, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do this the last 3 years. And they finally put a cold patch where I had another area that was about 3.5 inches. It was bad, but nothing was done this year. But what I've got a problem with is, like I say, the grade. So the stone, I have a heavy rain, and like I said, I've been there 30-some years. I'm the one that gets to pick up 5, 6, 7 gallons of stone every time there's a heavy rain. I told them I wasn't going to do it anymore. Last year my back was really bothering me. I had some work done on that, so that's better. So I'm still picking it up. But if any of that goes in the street, they go around it, and then they're just 30, 40 feet away is a sewer, so it's going in there. I'm still picking it up and throwing it back on the alley or wherever there's a low spot. But something needs to be done, like I say, because of that grade, to keep that from happening. And it'd be a little easier. And like I say, that's the one that's right next to my house, so I go to what I call my garage, but it's a barn, and then next to the house to park. But there's several families that probably go up and down there 4 or 5 times, a day to work and then back again. And some only use it once or twice a year. Some of them at the very far end, they're pulling their cars and mowers and so forth through. So there's quite a few people that are involved with that alley. But the biggest thing is just, 35 years of basically nothing's been. Oh, one time they did paint it, literally. They painted it black. There was absolutely no tar, no stone. Now that was about 15 years or so ago.
Okay.
But anyhow, just throwing that out. But the biggest thing is that, it'd be nice if that could be fixed in something permanent. That I think the grade's probably about, maybe 60 or 70 foot, and then it levels out.
Okay.
But that's one that involves me a little bit more than the others. But and utilities,
Right.
police, everybody's down there. Not that that's a problem, but it's just something that's just a nuisance, and nobody else is cleaning it up. And I guess I'm getting a little older.
Understandable.
That was the first item.
Okay.
And that's something I don't know when you have your budget or whatever, but if that's something that could be a little more permanently done, would be fantastic.
Okay.
The other one involves all of the village. I don't know if any of you, I've got a good sense of smell and taste. We've got a problem in the village here with water. The school has had it for about 1.5 years. I just thought it was a local problem. There's mold in the water. I don't know if anybody else notices it or not. I didn't notice it too much at home until about 6 months ago, and now I smell it upstairs. I've got a system that goes through several filters for my drinking water. But now I've got it upstairs, and then at our church we had it about 6, 8 months ago. I started noticing it there, so it's obviously in the water. And I talked to some people that work over at Archbold, a fellow that worked in the water system for 10 years. He said, I've never heard of that problem. I talked to a fellow that works, he was the administrator and also worked there, and I think, unless Stryker does, but a lot of the area water systems use them for testing. He said, I've never heard of it. I got online and looked at the EPA. I haven't called them, but I find out what's going on. But they said the biggest problem is with kids, and several of you have kids. If you don't, you might have grandkids or neighbors and older people. I guess I'm falling more under the older. But it's definitely in the water. It hasn't gone away. And it's really the worst place that I smelled it and tasted it, to the point where I can smell it. I don't even have to taste it anymore, but it's the school. And that's been at least 1.5 years. And why I thought it was just localized, I guess because I never noticed it anywhere else. But the church about 8 months ago, I think I said 6, in my house maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And it's only in the faucet so that I don't have, going through my drinking water that I notice it. So. But mold, it can have all kinds of different diseases in it. The worst one that you've all heard about can be E. coli even. And it says it's definitely not something you should be messing with. And I don't know if you've ever had plastic bottles, they say don't put the water back into it, because what happens if you put the water back in, mold grows on the inside of that plastic container. But that's something that And I thought we have all water coming from wells, is that correct in the village? What is at the end of Ellis where it curves there?
I'm gonna go to our water expert.
There's a light down there, I noticed when
That is
I used to work at
wastewater.
Strydell.
Wastewater,
Okay.
lift stations.
Okay, and I know there's a pump across from Jaegers and there's one outside
Right.
of town, I don't know where the others are. But they did say if you don't have it coming from a well, which should not be a problem.
Okay.
From what I
How,
found.
did you ever
Anything
test
coming
it?
from-
How do you know it's mold?
I can smell it, I can taste it.
You have no testing done or?
I have not had
Okay.
testing that, no.
Well, I can tell you, we do not have mold in the public system. Now, if it's in your house system, that could be a whole different story.
Why is it at the school a year and a half ago?
Because-
And then 8 months ago now it's at and that had a preschool in it.
We are required by the
Now-
Ohio EPA to test monthly for E. coli
How
bacteria.
about mold?
No, they do not test for mold.
Nobody has said that they ever did around here
Right.
that I've talked to.
And if mold was an issue, the Ohio EPA would make us test for
And I
it.
haven't talked to them directly, I've only gotten online.
All right, I can give you a number.
I've
If-
talked to them many times
In Bowling
before
Green,
when I
okay.
worked the
Yeah.
situation.
Now, it can be in your house, your mold. It could be in the school. But it is not in their water mains. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
And can you
How can you do
Can you
that if you
talk-
haven't had it tested?
talk about where our tests come from? Where you take the samples?
Where? Okay, we have 2 distribution tests plus the water plant. Coming out of the ground is tested. Right over here, the next building, it is tested monthly. That sample, like you said, is taken to Archibald, they test that. There is a Depot Street, North Depot Street, it is also tested. Those are the 2 distribution sites required by the Ohio EPA to test for.
My house is 121 years old and only in the last 6 months, and I've lived there almost 35 years, have I ever
Now,
had this problem?
what you could be smelling is chlorine
No, not chlorine.
or stale water. Does your house get flushed frequently?
The upstairs a lot less than in the school, but the thing is, no, I don't think anybody tests for mold, from what I've understood. You have a test for the other things that are, like E. coli, and there's 4 or 5 other things that I know are online, a little lesser than that, but mold literally.
Is there a
Nobody
test for
testing
that?
for mold,
You
from
know?
what I understand.
We're not required to test, so we do not test for mold.
Okay.
So,
Let's talk after this about maybe expanding a couple of the tests.
Right.
Since
And I'd be
it's
happy to
concerned.
go to this, I should have
It-
gone
it-
to the school long before now.
And maybe something that we can do is take some other samples in other locations, but
Right.
we definitely want to hit the ones that we're required to. And then just do a test, maybe gathering of some water. off.
And with the school, maybe I should go to the board and talk to them and say, hey, you can't put full filters in to take that out, but a year and a half at least ago, I smelled it for the first time. And anymore, I can walk right by a fountain down there, but I don't even have to touch it or taste it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gotten
definitely
worse.
something that we need confirmation of. Not saying that your senses are off by any means, but.
Several people can't tell, but I can.
But what we definitely need to do is do some more testing, since you did bring up a concern, and then get some real provable data.
Yeah. And same thing with the church, I've gone there for 25 years, but this is the first time I've ever noticed.
Right.
Yeah, what,
and
My house
it could be isolated
ago.
in buildings,
Well,
houses,
That's
schools.
near the school, it's First Lutheran, but I live all the way down here.
Right.
so,
Just a
let's
few
Yes,
look at
houses
some
we will do
things.
that.
Quadco.
We'll look at doing
But I just
some more testing.
wanted to bring that up because it involves a lot of people.
It does.
And it's not something that, I'm not faulting anybody, it's not something from what I've understood either
Right.
that anybody tests. But not even, like, I'd love to go to talk to EPA again, I've done it for many years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I don't know when the council was there, and the council, but the board, Stryker's board meets again, but maybe they just have to put in filters, and maybe it's just something that it's not moving enough, and all of a sudden it's just starting to hit, but I don't know if anybody else has noticed that.
And that might be something that we can discuss with them if you had a concern, and obviously you have every right to go up and speak with them as well.
I just thought they need to know, they need to be doing something, and, but like I say, what I found out is nobody's testing for it. They were both surprised that was even something that came up, and they never run into it either,
So
so.
it's not the
I
norm
don't
in
think
the
it's,
water
I don't
testing
think it's something that's
facilities.
tested, no.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely something we can
Yes.
do a little more
Anyhow,
on.
thank you.
All right, appreciate you bringing that
Yeah.
up. actually, I think that covers everything as far as our. Okay. That leads us into prior minutes. Everyone should have had a copy of that in our, thanks, Jack. Everyone had an opportunity to read through them. Is there a motion to accept the minutes dated 9/23 of 19?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from
20.
9/23/19. There we go.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any additions or corrections prior to us approving? Or voting, I should say? Okay, roll call.
Cameron,
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Blevins,
Yes.
Overland,
Yes.
Tompkins, yes, Armstrong,
Yes.
Regular minutes of 9/9 of 19. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of 9/9/19?
I'll make a motion to accept the regular minutes for 9/9/19.
Hang on. I said that wrong, okay? I apologize for that. The special minutes. Wait a minute. We did this, I read them back.
We did them backwards.
it's
Yeah, we
okay,
did it
Doesn't
back.
matter.
it's all right.
Okay, that was, did you, do I need to redo that?
No, we're good.
Okay.
We just go with the 9.
We know what we were doing.
Okay.
We'll just bring you.
I just labeled the minutes wrong. Okay, so now we're looking for the regular minutes of 9/9/2019. Is there a motion?
I have a motion from Tompkins and wait 1 second.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any additions or corrections to the regular minutes of 9/9/2019? Okay, and roll call?
Benner,
Yes.
Blevins,
Yes.
Overland,
Yes.
Tompkins,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Cameron.
Yes.
Look for a motion to accept the finance report of 10/18 of 2019. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the finance report of 10/18.
Any second?
I will second that.
Hey, Beth, did you have any comments before we vote, or before council votes?
I'll just give a quick review of, since the last meeting, our revenue was $106,600. Our expenses was roughly $142,000, which put us upside down this month of $35,000, but it's mainly because we paid for the canoe launch down there along Knott's Landing. That was just over 30,000, sorry, nights, just over $30,000. I'm waiting for the reimbursement to come in. That's Nature Works grant that we have to pay board first. And then we should be getting reimbursed by the end of the year of the $16,000 of grant money for that. So that was the big expense this month.
Okay, any questions for Beth on the finance side? Okay, roll call.
Overland,
Yes.
Tompkins,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Cameron,
Yeah.
Benner,
Yes.
Blevins.
Yes.
Leads us into the communication. I'll talk about the one and then turn it over to our chili cook-off king. October 26th is the trick or treat, running from 5:30 to 7. Again, trick or treat, 5:30 to 7 on that. Chili cook-off, why don't you describe that a little bit and where you're at with it?
We're not
We're running low,
really anywhere at all. I've got one volunteer to cook.
okay?
And, I'm just wondering what we should do from here.
Okay.
Should we cancel?
We could put a plea out on social media,
I've done that.
okay? Notice I don't read it a bunch if I wasn't saying it. We could put a plea out and then make a decision if it's not done by, or set up by, say Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. If you don't have enough, you wanna go ahead and scratch it for this year?
I think we scratched it for this year. So,
It has been out a couple of times on social media
Yeah.
already. There's been a lot of reposts from his original, so.
Do you wanna put something out on there, just say, and what day would we wanna use to say if it's not filled by Tuesday night or Wednesday night, whatever you think? It
let's
should-
go with Wednesday, that gives people a couple days to look at it.
Okay. And then,
Or you could even go as far out as Thursday,
okay.
because it wouldn't be until Saturday. So, yeah.
If you wanna put a deadline that if we don't have X amount by whatever date, then we will have to cancel.
Yep.
Wanna put something like that?
My apologies for that.
You didn't wanna cook 6 different kinds of chilies?
I can cook one kind. One really good kind.
That is true, I had it a couple years ago. Okay, so some potential there. And again, we are having candy up here, correct, Beth? Did we get some?
We will have some.
Did we keep the staff out of it before, or were they
I
still
haven't
sampling?
purchased, I haven't purchased it yet.
So they may sample it to make sure it's okay?
That will probably happen.
If any one of the 6, of you guys are, and gals are interested in coming up, it was a little chilly. It was cold. It was a little bit cold that night, but we'll pass out candy up here, so it'd be great to see you guys if you don't do it at your house. So that is available.
For what it's worth, the weather forecast for Saturday is gonna be mid-50s.
Oh,
So,
I haven't even looked out yet.
Shush.
Yeah, it was
So
not.
it should be a really nice day for trick or treating.
Okay. That leads us into committee reports, the finance committee minutes from 9/9, and I'll turn that over to Lee.
Finance committee, he's at 9/9, he's at 5 o'clock. Members present were myself, Brooke, and Lana. Others present was the fiscal officer, Chief Slusher, the administrator, Alan Rudzik. The committee reviewed the ad for hiring a village maintenance worker, and we will recommend to council to approve and move forward with the advertisement. The committee was formed for the interview process, of course, that's all happened. You met the new employee and the committee discussed Stryker having its military banner program available for the residents. Fiscal officer Beth Rediger showed the committee the proofs for the first 2 banners, and hopefully more residents will participate in the program. It was noted that the village is currently being audited for 2017 and 2018. The estimated cost for this is $3,280. We discussed things for next year's budget, things to be considered, that is. Number 1 is going to be a new police car, adding the maintenance worker, knowing that we may have one retire in 2021. The Johnson Avenue water line project, the village is applying for a 50% OPWC grant. Cost would be $52,250 out of the water and sewer fund. Fiscal officer noted that Ellen Reedsecker and herself, jeez, wow. I know, right?
Yeah, you guys make fun of me for getting tongue-tied.
Wow. And herself met with Pogmeyer Engineering and asked them to present engineering plans for residential development of the village-owned property south of town. Chief Slusher noted that he is also looking at purchasing new police vests in next year's budget, applying for a grant through the Attorney General's office. That is a 75-25, is that right?
Yes.
The village would only be responsible for about $250 per vest, and we should purchase 12. You would also like to update the evidence room to make it more secure. Estimated cost for that is $1,000. Lastly, the committee discussed the need for new police radios in the future. The current countywide communication system is outdated and will have to be replaced by the end of 2021. So there's a potential expense that needs to be budgeted. The county is having a meeting on September 12th to discuss the cost of the Marks radio system and a new countywide system so that all entities are on the same. Chief Slusher The administrator and the fiscal officer are planning to attend on this meeting. With no further business, the committee adjourned, respectfully submitted by Leon.
Any questions for Lee or the finance committee? Okay, motion to accept the finance committee minutes of 9/9 of 19.
I'll make a motion to accept meeting minutes from 19. I looked at 18.
It's contagious, isn't it?
I looked at
It's just
18 on
going around the
this
table, all it is. Who's next? And second.
I can second this without screwing it up.
And roll call.
Tompkins,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Cameron,
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Blevins,
Yeah.
Overall.
Yes.
Okay, next one turns into old business, which is a land bank update, and I'm gonna turn this over to you guys to let you discuss that a little more.
I just, in your packets, I included a spreadsheet, of parcel numbers and properties. They are a variation of residential and commercial. Ones that we have submitted before, we got a letter that, the county was looking for everything to be resubmitted. Anything that we had submitted before, they wanted by October 25th. So I went ahead and signed, and sent everything that we basically put in before. They're, the state is doing a refunding of that grant for land banks, so, I just wanted to keep you aware that we're still moving forward with the ones. And the sheet that, the spreadsheet, it was just easier to put them on a spreadsheet versus filling out their sheet, but what you got is what they asked for, was just parcel numbers and comments of what we thought needed repaired or fixed. So I think there was like 12 or 14 on there, that we're moving forward with.
Are these all different? Or some of these are the same properties, listed more than once?
They're all different parcel numbers, they're all different properties. They might be like, some properties might have 2 parcels, but they're all different.
Is there any other questions for that? For Beth on the land contract? And we've been blessed, we actually, I don't wanna say we were the first ones, because I don't know that we were, but we were definitely at the forefront when the thought of, what about a land bank? The county was thinking it at the same time, so it just worked out extremely well that it was more than us just thinking, we need some help and we have some properties. We've been fortunate that we have a couple buildings that the land bank did take over. I think it's 2 of them that they tore down, and then a third one was in good enough shape where they resold it. So definitely moving in the right direction. We'd love to be able to see houses built on the properties that were tore down and are now grass lots. One of them has several trees, actually both of them have several trees right there. So it would be a great spot for someone to build a home if we're looking to move into the Stryker area. Just saying. But there's definitely some good things happening with that, and it'd be great to get some of these other properties either repaired or be able to get replaced.
Along that same line, there's 2 properties that are going to be cleaned up also,
Okay,
not through the land bank.
okay. Do you wanna discuss those now, or do you wanna wait till,
It doesn't
it's up to
matter.
you? Since we're on properties, go ahead.
Okay. The 212 Ellis Street property, I was notified by the Ohio EPA, and they are taking care of that one themselves, so that one's out of our hands. And then the 910 West Curtis property that is in bad shape, our solicitor has sent a certified letter to inform the owner of that, correct?
Yes.
And with those, some may say that we've taken plenty of time with this. Have we taken extra time? Absolutely. We definitely have, but it's also, we're not here to really beat anybody up. That's never the thought process, but it's something that we wanna work with people and give an opportunity, and we've come towards the end of that. So it's nice that we were able to do the one, and then the EPA actually was stepping in on the other one, but we had stuff prepared for that. So, just so, I know that has come up a couple times from a couple of you guys, and that is being addressed through the paper trail.
With that said, the EPA notified me, we had nothing to do with it. They come in and said, I just wanted to let you know we're investigating the property, so.
So, any questions on the land bank or the two, I point this way, the two properties in question? All right, perfect. Puts us into legislation. Looking to suspend ordinance number 2019-06. Is there a motion to suspend 3 readings for ordinance number 2019-06?
I'll make a motion to suspend ordinance 2019-06.
Is there a second?
Second.
And any questions on this? Okay, roll call?
Armstrong,
Yeah.
Cameron,
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Blevins,
Yes.
Overland,
Yes.
Tompkins.
Yes.
Need a motion to pass ordinance number 2019-06. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-06.
And a second? And again, any questions on this prior to voting? And Beth, did you want to put anything out on this?
This is just, we do this every year to update our green codified ordinance books. It's to accept the changes. I think we only actually have one ordinance passed through council that changed, most of them are traffic and ORC.
Because the ORC never changes, and it's always fun to read.
And all your books have been updated, and online has been updated.
And if you guys are anything like me, the online is a wonderful tool, because we can search much easier. So that's available for anyone, and I want to say that was about 4 years ago that came into play. So that's been a great asset to us. So with that, roll call for ordinance number 2019-06.
Cameron,
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Blevins.
Yes.
Overland,
Yes.
Tompkins,
Yes.
Armstrong.
Yes. It's gonna lead us into village officials. I'm gonna jump to Chief Slusher. I'll go to him first. Alan got to jump in on some other stuff. So Chief, the floor's yours.
Well, there really wasn't a whole lot of stuff that you really need to be briefed upon. We had 96 calls for service since our last meeting, 5 adult arrests, 27 traffic warnings, 1 traffic citation.
And a new hire?
And a new hire.
And a new hire? Any questions for Chief Slusher? Okay. Thanks, Chief. Alan?
Just have a couple things. We had a USDA inspector stop for our mosquito spraying and weed spraying last week and went through everything, and everything passed in flying colors. The leaf pickup will begin this week. We had a little issue with our truck and had to do some repairs, but that is back now, so leaf pickup will begin, along with hydrant flushing this week also. So, and if you see red water, just don't do any laundry that day, just bypass it, and it'll be gone, so. That's all I have.
Okay.
What day was that?
This week, Monday through Thursday.
So that means if you're getting ready for the leaf season, if you use the Walmart theory, do you have your snow stuff ready?
Yes.
Okay.
We just don't want the snow
And we
yet.
don't want to talk about it yet? Not ready for fall to be over? Okay, I'll come over to Beth on that, talking about the 2017-18 audit, and then you wanna talk about the LMI?
Oh, yeah, the audit, I put in your packet, the audit report, we passed flying colors, no red flags, no nothing. As you can tell in the report, the estimated cost, I think, is $32.80. I've only paid one bill so far of 18 something, 46 hours. The auditor was here. I guess into that, I wanted to schedule a finance committee meeting to go over the audit, to go over the budget next year. A lot of different things I think we need to go over. So I wanted to kind of get that scheduled. And the LMI survey, that went through, we came out 47%. We needed to be more than 51% to qualify for grants. Enough people returned them, and we were qualified at 57%, and that's for 5 years. So what that does is that opens the door to apply for more grants where, before, like, we applied for a block grant, I had to look for handicap eligibility or certain requirements. With the LMI, it allows us to apply for the whole town as a whole, which just, there's a lot more available to apply for, so we're really happy with that. And like I said, that survey's good for 5 years, so.
And we knew, well, you guys all were here, I believe. I don't know, you might have, were you here at the beginning of it? We were a little concerned about some of the costs, and we knew there was going to be some there. Did not have any idea where that was going to go, but the opportunity to have more grants or be eligible outweighed that. So definitely a good thing that happened there with doing that. Hopefully, we can get some more for the grants. Obviously, we know that the Knots Landing, the Knights Landing, that was part of it. We've had some sidewalk come into play as well. So grants, I'm huge on getting grants, and I know Beth is as well, especially since it helps our budget and we're able to do some projects. So I know she's really excited about being able to do that. Any questions for Beth on the LMI or the 2017-18 audit? So I would say great job on the audit. I mean, that takes a ton of work to do that, so we appreciate that. I'll say that from the village standpoint, just not the council. It's extremely important. You did bring up the idea of wanting a finance meeting. What are we looking for? What day?
I'd just like to do it before the next council meeting, or, I mean, you can do it that day, it doesn't matter, but, one of the things too is, the insurance is coming up for renewal, and, that's one of the things I wanna be able to go over to, employee insurance benefit package.
And I know that they have been speaking with some representatives on what it's going to look at. So they've been doing some work for a little bit of time here. So it's like anything, cost just keeps increasing. But they know what we're kind of looking for when it comes to the insurance portion of it. So what day do you guys want to be able to meet?
Sooner the better.
Sooner the better.
Volleyball starts for both kids,
Okay.
so even maybe next Monday if it works with everybody else.
That works for me.
Works for me.
28.
I will try to get the insurance numbers by then, I mean, I think we'll have a pretty good idea.
Okay. 28.
Yeah.
What time? I'm gonna put it in my calendar. Do we want to go 6 p.m.?
On Monday.
Okay. 28th of October, 6 p.m., 5 minutes. Okay. I have a couple items, but I'll wait to the end, I'll start here on my left side. I never know which way I'm gonna go, so it's all yours.
Okay, well, I wanted to call a safety meeting, so I don't know if that works for next Monday to do it either before the finance committee. What is Rex and.
5 PM?
5, okay?
Yeah.
Safety. Okay,
And the other thing was, in regards to the mediation that had been going on, I don't know if it's still going on, in regards to the fire department and the village.
okay.
Can you confirm, are we done with that, are we not done with that?
With-
I wanna bring something up, but I don't know where we're at.
Right. With the mediation, and Katie, our solicitor, please step in if I misspeak.
Yes.
Please correct me, because I do not want to misspeak. We went through the mediation. There's two things with it. And I know there's stuff on social media, but I just want to stay with the facts. It is Springfield Township Fire Department. Now, we're all a community within, I mean, we're Stryker, but the responsibility is Springfield Township. That's where the funding comes from, not just the village. Now, we as village residents pay Springfield Township taxes. Okay, so it's everyone in Springfield Township. With the mediation, we sat down, it was never accepted. We did make an offer. I thought it was a good faith offer, and those who sat in that thought so as well. Legally obligated, the answer to that would be no, we're not obligated because that is not a department funded by the village. There are no ties. However, we do offer things for them. They have some free water, they have some internet. I mean, they have some odds and end things that we've been doing for years. As far as the mediation, it was never accepted, so that's dead in the water.
Okay, that was kind of my question, if we weren't at that point where we said, you know, we have a deadline, we haven't met the deadline, let's cut it, or let's be finished, I guess that's what I was trying to establish. Have we established that we have offered, they haven't accepted, therefore we're done, so that it doesn't
That was,
rear its ugly head again?
yeah, that was, can I say declined? Is that the proper word for it?
The offer was declined,
Okay.
and the village, I believe, made as good a faith offer as we could have made. I strongly believe that, and it's ultimately up to the township and the fire department to determine whether they want to pursue anything further. At this point, I think it's too late in the game, but the ball is in their court now, so to speak. So if they would want to pursue something later, or later come back and say, well, we've changed our mind, we want to accept your offer, you know, it's obviously, I think, too late to do that, but it would be something the village would have to reconsider then. Does that make sense, Lana?
Yeah, I just kind of wondered if we were still hanging out there with something we didn't know yet, or if it's finished as far as, you know, it's been tabled or it's been dealt with, whatever. I just felt like we needed to put a dot on the end of the thing, either yes, no, whatever. I was just seeing where we were.
As far as the mediation portion, and we had somewhat of a timeline because of the budget year. I mean, we were restricted by budget, so you just heard some of our finance for this month. It was upside down. Of course, there's reason for that, and we can show that. Overall, are we okay as the village in our financial status? The answer to that is we're okay. Now, can we withstand 3, 4, 5 months of what just happened this month? The answer is that's going to hurt. And I commended, I think you guys remember, we had some previous council members come up and talk about this very same thing, where that council at that time voted no. It was brought to the council, they voted no to give that money to them. Doesn't matter the reason behind it, it never came back to vote. So previous council members voted no. So that is the 100% legal answer from the village and council, is it was voted no. Has it come back to us? The answer is no, but we did go through mediation and did some good faith items there. So I hope that answers, I don't wanna throw my opinion out there at all, I wanna only do the facts side of things.
Right, and that's kind of what I wanted, what, you know, where it was, or if it was done, or if it was still ongoing, so.
And there's
that
definitely,
answers my question.
there's definitely some misunderstanding of exactly, that side of it. And in this folder, this has straight facts.
Yeah, I think we went through that.
We've went through this,
yes.
and I think when you came on board, we sat down, and I let you look at these as well. And it's, we have the documentation. So from that standpoint,
I'm satisfied then,
Okay,
that's what I
okay.
wanted to find out.
Yeah.
So, I'm good.
okay.
I'm good.
I know we've talked about it before, but since we got the boat dock open,
The which one?
the boat dock.
Oh, yeah.
launch, is there any talk about maybe doing an open ceremony, ribbon cutting, put it out there? I mean, it's been in the paper before. I know you mentioned it. But do we wanna do one, or?
I'll tell you what, let's schedule something. I think that would be great to put some of the people that were really instrumental in that. Maybe we can bring some people in.
And the people that actually installed it, maybe we can be there too. I don't know.
Can you arrange something? I think it'd be neat.
I think so.
Ceremonial boat launch
Put that one out in the book.
Yeah.
with no paddle.
We gotta go with the hole in it.
And just be careful if you
Here's-
walk out there.
here's some
don't
Flex
stretch
Seal.
yet.
Yeah, see if it really works.
I went
That's a
down there
great-
and visited, and, did a really good job.
Yeah, it looks great.
I was impressed.
Now, I did see, and again, I say I don't look at social media much, but I did see some talk, I mean, that was an item there for a little bit, and there was talk of the, some of the log jams and stuff in there. So you're always going to have that in this area, I think, because of the river, but definitely, I think it's gonna be used a ton. So
Well,
they
I
did
was
a nice
wondering
job.
if they can open Roops Landing back up. I know years ago, it used to have gravel all the way down to the river, so maybe that's something, because that's park board, maybe they can get
That's,
something to open that up, and then we would have both ends.
there's, I don't,
There is a path down there.
Yeah.
It's not concrete and stone and all that, but there's people do use it to fish down there.
Yeah.
now, is that on village or is that on,
That is on Roop's, township,
on
park board,
the park board?
park board property.
So I'm not sure if I know anyone that has
Why
ties
do you
with
think I'd
it.
look in that direction?
I got 7 minutes to my meeting.
So that would be a great, great project.
I can bring it up. I
Because
brought up
it-
the chili thing and.
Yeah. So if they can open that in, then you can launch and exit, and
It would be a nice feature at Stryker to be able to go from both places.
and then maybe in the spring, we can do a cleanup of some kind to make it easier to get through anything between.
Oh, now you're really asking.
I know.
No,
some
we're
people
just looking for
chainsaw.
the funding
I
for
got
the
chainsaw.
other.
And waivers.
Beth is able to do that, everybody else for Saturday would be better.
Okay. Yeah, if Beth would arrange that, that'd be great.
And, okay, done with that, also Christmas lights, we got
Ooh,
all those ready to
I'm
go?
glad you said that.
I have not heard from the company yet. I can give them a call tomorrow and see when we're on the schedule. We're usually one of the first ones, which people complain that they're up early, but we
Well,
don't
it wasn't
light
that they
them.
were up, it was that they got, they had a date of when they were gonna be lit, and they were actually turned on prior to that, and that's where all the fuss came from.
Mm,
They had to wait until that date before they got turned on.
mm.
It's the anticipation of the Christmas lights.
Yes.
Some
Yes,
people
they
believe
wanted
it
to
is
wait.
it's un-Christmas to do it before
There
Thanksgiving.
you go.
And others have their Christmas trees out about now.
That's the whole.
So we'll get the update. I was
I
gonna
mean,
ask
our
about that
next
same
meeting's
thing.
the 18th. I don't know, you probably wanna turn them on before that, but, they will probably be up before that
Up
because
is
the
fine, just
company.
don't turn on.
Generally, the first part of
Yeah,
November.
the company that puts them up is usually here the first week in November. And it's just because they have so many communities that's where we fall on the list.
So we can put them up, just don't turn on them.
Okay.
All right.
Can we have the music though?
No,
Okay.
let the turkey have turkey day before music.
Okay.
Okay.
What else you have, Brett? Okay,
I'm good.
okay.
Do we know anything about moving the sign yet? Do we have any tentative plans?
Well, we had to wait until the crops are out again, so, yes.
Okay. Oh, that's something.
Okay.
Any update on Horton Street?
I did talk to them, they're behind schedule, but they will finish it this fall.
That's all I can
Okay, what else do you have? Okay. Was this in the pamphlet? I know I looked at it, okay. There's some futuristic plans of the South Project, just some thoughts that was put out there. If you guys wanna look at something like that, I have some questions, on the one section, but, we're definitely looking at something to do with that property. I know it was purchased years ago for possible future development of homes. We're kind of leaning that way again, but again, that's 100% up to council here, if that's the avenue, but we wanted to start putting something together so you could just see it on paper, not just your own imagination. I did have a contact, there's a company or a developer that works right now a bunch in Perrysburg that was looking to do outside of that area. I don't know if they have some interest here, but supposed to be having some contact with them to see if there's some interest there. But again, nothing is going to happen prior to you guys or the 6 council members sitting here deciding what we do with that, but we're just trying to get something out there to look at. So that is here, and then we'll discuss that other portion about a question in there. The other item, 2 items I have for you. One, I want to commend this council. I've been here for 4 years and 4 years prior to that. But what I have always seen from this council is that you listen and you do what's best for the village with the information that you have. So I commend you for standing strong with that, listening, taking the time. I know that there's junk out there, but if you're not up here and listen to you guys and watch you 6 work, you really don't have a really good idea. So I truly appreciate that. Stand by that. Don't let someone else sway that. So I just wanted to do that, and that goes with you guys as well. The last thing that I have is, I'll just announce it, there was a letter sent anonymously. Don't know where it came from. This is me personally, I take very little weight in something that someone is not going to stand behind. However, it was addressed to myself and to 6 of you. I will share that with you. I have the letter here. You can get that directly after. But I do want to make sure that you guys have that because it was addressed to all 7 of us. But again, it is not signed, no indication of where it's coming from. So understand that as well. I don't want to sway you one way, whether you agree or disagree with it, but I do want you to be aware that the person did not sign it or make themselves known. So.
I have no respect for somebody that does that.
Personal, again, I am 100% with someone giving me information and coming to me or saying, here it is, and then saying, please keep this anonymous. I get that. If they would come to you, I think we would need to respect that person's right for that, but they also need to let somebody know. Just don't be right behind the concerned citizen verbiage. So, okay. So I have that here, make sure that you pick that up. I also have this picture here. One last go around.
Our part-time meter reader, lawnmower man, retired for the 2nd time.
Well, that's not, no.
Right there, we have a card.
Sorry, I forgot.
Oh,
You can pass it around and sign it if you would like. That's all.
can we say no?
He's already retired.
Can we say no?
I don't think we have that choice.
We can say it.
But he wouldn't listen. So let's make sure that Jeff has been with us for,
Over 10 years. He retired from the city of Bryan, water
Okay.
department. came over here, worked part-time for over 10 years.
Okay. Absolutely, he's done well for us. I did not know that was coming, so that's unfortunate, but truly, anytime a person can retire and enjoy it, I'm a little jealous. Actually, probably a lot jealous. So, wish him the best.
We're
Yes.
already good that way.
We're all getting that way?
Mm.
Okay. So, with that,
Good.
one last time around? Okay. All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, thank you much, council.
I have a question. You guys do Santa or just the library?